Greetings, my students. Greetings and hello. Lesson 25. Lesson 25 in Seow's A Grammar for Biblical Hebrew. Last lesson, as you will no doubt recall, we looked at the PL imperfect, and we had a call imperfect. So we had yiktol, and then we had yekatel for the PL. Now we're going to get yaktil, which is the hifil imperfect. Yes, indeed, the hifil. Page 275, lesson 25, 1a, the chart there right in the middle of the page. Can't miss it. Let me read these forms and see what you notice about the patterns here in the hifil imperfect. Yaktil, taktil, taktil, taktili, aktil. Yaktilu, taktelna, taktilu, taktelna, naktil. Okay. You want there to be an H in there, a hey, just like in the perfect, right? But there isn't one. The hey has dropped out. See how it shows up in the very first paragraph on the page, how that might have happened. It may have been yehaktil, which just went to yaktil. Okay. So just a normal process of losing a hey, which we're used to from the third hey verbs generally. So you don't get that, but you do get that nice a vowel under the ya, ta, a, na. Get that nice a vowel. And do you notice what else you get in each one of those forms? With the exception of the third feminine plural and the second feminine plural, you get that nice hirik yod right in the middle of the word, that e. What's that doing in there? Okay. Well, that's part of the hifil imperfect paradigm. In the third feminine plural and second feminine plural, that e sound is you almost get it. You just get it in a sere. Taktelna, so it's not quite the hirik and the yod, but you do get a sere, which is like that long e, a sound. Okay? So that helps. Notice all the other preformative and aformative consonants, the ya and the ta and the e, the yod on the end of the words, and the u on the end of the third masculine plural, and the nun on the beginning of the first common plural, and the aleph on the beginning of the first common singular, all the same. All the same as what you're used to. Okay? Speak that hifil imperfect out a few times. Get used to it. Of course, as expected now, Seow is going to show us how this plays out on pages 276 through 279 with many different kinds of verbs. Page 276, the first guttural, no problem. Ya amid, ta amid, blah, blah, blah. Page 277, third hey, it's going to look a little different. You're not going to get your yod in there because the hey dropped off, so there's nowhere to put it. You're going to get yarbe, tarbe, tarbi, arbe, yarbu, tarbena, narbu, yaale, taale, taali, aale. Okay. And you can feel free when you look at this stuff. It's like, well, how obviously is that a hifil? Well, that a vowel underneath the yod, that's a big clue. So that a vowel is going to stick around. You'll see it on page 279. You get an a vowel, although this time it's a long a on the hollow verbs, the second vav, second yod. Yeah, but it's not yakum, which you had in the call for kum, but it's yakim this time. So now we get our e sound back for the hifil. Yakim, takim, takimi, akim, yakimu, takimena, takimu, takimena, nakim. Same with sum or seem, place. Yasim, tasimi, etc., etc., etc. So you lose some marks, but you get some other ones, okay? Interestingly, back on page 278, I want to alert you to this. 278F. First vav verbs are kind of interesting, like those roots which are originally first vav. So like yashav was really washab, right? The hifil imperfect is going to be yoshiv and toshiv. So that vav is actually, it does appear in the hifil. Halak behaves like a first vav verb. Page 278F, note. So for halak, you're going to get yolich and tolich, and so on. Okay. What does the hifil mean in the imperfect? Like yakim or takim or yasim? Well, it means cause to. So Yakum, he will arise. Yakim, he will cause to arise. Okay, he will lift up, I guess, in that sense. So the hifil is causative. Causative. Page 280. You see how this works with the vav consecutive. Oh, now this is something you need to know. Pay attention to this, page 280. In the hifil, the vav consecutive is a little bit different than the imperfect. So take like shamar, shamad, exterminate. Yashmid, he will exterminate. The jussive, though, is yashmed, may he exterminate, destroy. The vav consecutive uses the jussive-like form, the old yaktul, the yaktulu. Vayashmed. So it's not vayashmid, like in the imperfect, it's the jussive. So recognizing that you lose that e thing in the vav consecutive with the hifil, but you get it preserved a little bit with that sere vowel. And you still get the a vowel underneath the yod. Okay? Yashmid, yashmed, vayashmed. Yagid, nagad, tells, is a very common hifil verb. Yagid, he will tell. Yaged, may he tell. Vayaged, and he told. Okay? And you can see how this plays out with third gutturals. Shalach, yashliach, yashlach, vayashlach. Okay. Naga, yagia, but then yaga, and then vayaga. Okay. So have a look at those charts. I realize this may seem overwhelming to you at this stage in your learning. It's okay to be overwhelmed. There's nothing wrong with being overwhelmed. You don't have to panic. It's okay to be overwhelmed. It's fine. You just note it. You kind of feel the tension in your chest. You say, I'm overwhelmed. Noted. Okay. Speaking of overwhelmed, why don't you turn the page, 282, 283. Whoa! You get some hifil imperatives. They kind of work like the others. You take the imperfect form and you chop off the first letter there, the one that comes with the imperfect. So, just like with the PL, you had okay. So you have at the top of the page 282, you had kal tiktol. Then the imperative was ketol. So just cover up the T there, the tav at the beginning, and that's the imperative. In the PL, cover up the te at the beginning, katel, and look what you get, katel. Kind of the same with the hifil. But you have to remember that there's a characteristic H, the ha, of the hifil, which has disappeared in the imperfect, which comes back in the imperative. So that's nice that it's there, but you can't use that trick where you just base it on the imperative. Okay? So, haktail, kill. Haktilu, kill, all you men, go out and kill. Haktailna, go out, ladies, and kill. Haktili, just you one lady, go out and kill. Okay. Nice to have the hay there, though, because it's a hifil after all. He gives you a big chart with all kinds of forms of the hifil imperative just to kind of see how that plays out. If you want to memorize something, I would memorize the hifil masculine singular imperative and the masculine and plural. Feminine imperatives do occur, just not that often. So it's probably not worth stressing out about those. But the masculine, singular, and plural, yeah, maybe. Page 23, the infinitives. Yep, you got infinitives. They also have a hey, that's nice. Hashmed, hashmed, hashmid. Okay? The infinitive absolute is identical to the imperative, all the way down, as you can see. The infinitive construct, just a little different, has that E in it. Okay? And if you want to compare that to the hifil perfect, you can do that. Okay? Flip back to, where is that? Lesson 16. Way back in lesson 16 was where we had our hifil. Perfect. Page 181. And you can see that it wasn't, so I'm toggling back and forth between the chart on the top of page 283, the hifil infinitives, and the chart on page 181, just the hifil perfect. Third masculine singular was hiktil, whereas all these hifil infinitive forms are ha, ha, except for the first vav, yod, which is ho, 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 hoshiv, hoshev, etc. So you can compare those, kind of see what's different. The A vowel at the beginning is really what you're getting. So instead of hishmid, he will destroy. It's hashmid, to destroy. Okay. Then on page 283, he gives you a nice synopsis of verbs in the hifil. Again, something might be good to do is like make photocopies of all these big synopsis charts, and then you can have those, like you can shrink them down to note card size and paste them on a note card, and you can have those ready when you're translating to help you. You might have also noticed by this point in your study that at the back of the book, if you look in the back of the grammar, he has several appendices, big charts, awesome charts, which have all kinds of summaries of all the verb types. Okay, really nice, including kinds we haven't even gotten to yet in the grammar. Pages 284 to 285 is not that big of a deal. It's just different translations of vav. The means and or but, right? Well, not always. And we've seen this several times already, so this shouldn't come as a shock. I think on page 284 and 285, I think you can get away with just reading all these carefully. Just read the examples in Hebrew. Just read them. Moshe ve'Aharon, read them all and translate them. So read them in Hebrew and then use his English translation to cheat and translate. And just notice in each instance how he's using the vav. So take a good 10, 15 minutes to do that. It's going to mostly be review, I think, for you, and none of it's too counterintuitive. But you need to get a little used to this stuff, and I think it would just be tedious for me to sit and go through all of these with you on the audio, okay? So take some time, go through these, read them. Of course, as you know, you should be reading all of these lessons before you listen to the audio, and then also maybe again afterward, and then maybe listen to the audio again, and then maybe do some of the reading on your own. That's the way you need to do these, okay? No shame in listening twice or 3 or 5 times. Page 286, more vocabulary. Okay, this vocabulary is going to come to an end at a certain point, but these are still relatively common words. Words like kochav, star, yareach, moon, nasi, prince, shulchan, table. Verbs like nacham, comfort, almost always in the PL, as nicham, and so on. Okay. Have fun.